Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. It's Monday the 25th of May and we have new mods. We also have an update, only the one today. We've got an update to the Lemken Diamond by Shardy. That's a 4.9 metre plough, I think it is, the Diamond. 4.95, pretty close. I'll take that. So there's been an update to that. As far as mods go, we got a bit of a kind of grasswork mod selection today. There's quite a few. But directly in front of us we have got the Fleegal VFW 10600 by Backy. I thought we'd already had this. I could have dreamt it. We've had quite a few different slurry tankers, spreaders, double axle, triple axles, singles, and you name it. But this one is by Backy. It is a 10,000 litre one, I think. Again, I will just have a quick check to my right. It's a 10,600 litre capacity, hence 10,600. So, nice mod. Not a huge capacity. It's going to be a smaller farm type thing, or medium-sized farm. It's one of those things again where, you know, in the real world, most farmers that are slurry spreading and spreading digestate and stuff don't necessarily have massive tankers. They will spend days going backwards and forwards with whatever size they've got, filling up, going back out, filling up, going back out, and you know, it's not always necessarily the fact you can just go for the biggest one there is and just, you know, just do one pass over a field. Sometimes it does take a lot longer. Not bad at all. So this you'll find slurry tanks just there, 18,000 to buy, 85 horsepower required to pull it. It will spread at 10.4 metres. Options available, we can have the tyres standard or wide, more kind of flotation type tyres. So what we'll do, jump in this red one, we'll pull forward. Well, that's weird, it does it in like two little discs. It's kind of like spraying out one side and then round again. That's an unusual pattern, isn't it? But there you go. That's your spreader slurry. Quite slow to turn, I suppose because of the axle. But there's your slurry spreader. Or digestate, or it'll take both, so whichever you would rather. Disconnect. So that's the first of our mods for today, the Fleegal VFW 10600 by Backy. Next, we've got this. This is the Duvelsdorf grassland harrow. This is by CG Production. This is, for all intents and purposes, a weeder. It kind of conditions grass meadows. It's specifically, I think, designed for. You drag it across and it kind of pulls out all the stuff you don't need and keeps the grass in a nice state. So this you'll find under weeders and is technically a weeder, but there's something odd about this one. I'll say not odd, but if we go to weeders, and it's always difficult because the things that you think in your head are supposed to be a certain way aren't always a certain way. And I know people often comment and say, oh yeah, but it will do this, isn't it? You know, so bear with me on this. Because the AgroMash BM75 is like a mulch harrow which will do weeding but can also give you a fertilising state because it mixes crop residues, stubble fertilisation. So this one, when you click on it, it says with a meadow harrow, molehills can be levelled and fertiliser can be evenly distributed on a meadow. So you kind of think to yourself, oh, hang on a minute, so I can fertilise with this as well, a little bit like the AgroMash. Plus there's a Scaraflex as well you can download, which also does that. Most of the others are just weeders. There is one that does have a tank, this one here, the Einbach there. But you can actually plant with that one. So we've got a few different kind of options here. So I thought, okay, fair enough. I've checked it. I think that's just the description, basically saying that it's designed to get rid of molehills and stuff on a field so that when you do come to fertilise, it spreads evenly and doesn't get caught up on molehills and stuff. Because I've tried it out on a couple of fields and I haven't been able to get any fertilising state from this. What I'm basically saying is this, as far as I can tell, is a weeder. I haven't been able to get anything to fertilise with it. Maybe you'll try it and you'll get it too, but I haven't been able to. It folds up, it's 5 metres And we've got some options with regard to colour choices. So I came off of that too quickly. So the grassland harrow. So the design colour is actually the sort of chain bits on the inside. Then the main colour is the actual sort of chassis framework around it. So the bit on the inside we can have that, or a bright red. Then the main colour we can have that, or that, or that, or that. Now we can have it as a Duvelsdorf. It has the logo down at the bottom. It's quite difficult to see there. Or we can have it as a sapphire. And it changes the logo just at the bottom of the frame, just there, and that's it. There's no other options on it. You can't turn it on or off or anything like that. You just drop it down and you drag it along behind you. So there we go. That's it. I know there's a lot of waffle on that. I was just trying to kind of explain. I don't know. Ignore me. Right, moving on. Another puzzler. I think we only just had one of these, didn't we, on Friday? Or was it like it was one of the days last week we had the lizard. What was it? S525 or something? I'm sure it was the same as this one. But anyway, this is the lizard spider. This is by Danio Mods. This is a Tedder. It's a 2.7, I think. I'm sure the one the other day was a 2.6. This is a 2.7, or it's the other way round. You hook it on the back with a PTO, pull it along, and it teds. It's a small Tedder. As you can see, though, disconnecting it keeps falling back. I haven't been able to put that down, and it stayed down. Again, that could be a problem with the ground, not necessarily with the mod itself, or it could be a clash between the mod and the ground. It might be if you put it down on concrete, it sits down perfectly. But every time I've tried to place that, put it down, it keeps tipping backwards. The vehicles I've tried to hook up with have still hooked up to the 3-point link, but it just, I don't know, it seems a little bit unsightly, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, it does what it says in the tin. It's a Tedder. Options available on this one. You'll find this under Tedders. The Spider is a 2.6. I'm sure the other one was a 2.7. It's 800 to buy. I haven't said any of the slots, have I? The Fleegal VFW slurry spreader was 4 slots. The Duvelsdorf grassland harrow was also 4 slots. This one, the lizard spider, is also 4 slots. Oh, it makes life a lot easier, doesn't it? Options available. We can change the main colour, which is the main framework, to various different colours like so. Design colour is the tines, so we can change the tine colour like so. And those are your options. It'll run at 11 miles per hour, only requires 25 horsepower, and it teds. That's by Danio Mods. Moving onwards, we've got this one. This is the Deutz KM25F. This is a mower. This is only a 2-point-something metre. It's quite a narrow one, quite a small one. There are a few different options available on this one. This is by Sin Rainer and Farming Agency. It does require this here. This is kind of like the fast coupler tractor triangle pack. Is a fast coupler for all intents and purposes, but it's a required mod to get this to work. You can't just get that and just pick it up with 3-point link. You have to have that as well. Whether you consider that to be a faff, a bit of an annoyance, that's entirely your prerogative. That's just how it hooks up. It needs one of those. Unfortunately, when this tractor triangle pack came out, I think there was that thought that there was going to be loads and loads of mods that would follow along that would have this brilliant fast coupler thing. But there aren't that many, in all honesty, that hook up with this. But that's by Gamer8250, and that's a required mod to get this one to work. So you'll find this under mowers. Just there, 1,160 horsepower required. It's a 2.1 metre. So as far as the front mower goes, it's not the widest. Again, you'd probably use this on smaller tractors, probably with a rear side mower. I mean, you don't have to, but you find with a lot of these triple mower setups where you've got a butterfly mower and a front mower, the butterfly mower opens out and the front mower fills the gap that the butterfly bit misses, if that kind of makes sense. Sometimes with a butterfly mower like that, the narrower small front headers don't always catch all the grass, so it's just a case of finding a combination that works for you, really. Design colour is the skirt. Now that says original Deutz red, but the skirt's black. Then that says Deutz green, and the skirt goes kind of a grey. That says Deutz original, and it goes white, and that says spare part. I'm not quite sure. I don't think they're supposed to be like that. But those are the different colours you get for the design colour. Then the main colour, we've got the Deutz red, we've got a worn one, weathered, we've got Deutz green, and then we've got a weathered green, then we've got a Deutz or just a far red, which is before it became Deutz it was just far. And then I think there's a weathered version of that as well, the weathered far red as well. Then we can have normal PTO like that, or you can have an extended PTO, which gives you a longer PTO shaft for depending on what vehicle you're hooking up to. And then decals around the front. We can have that decal there, which says decals Deutz red. Then that one says decals Deutz green, and that one says decals far. So if you want to go for like an older machine, you can go for the far red or a weathered red with just the far on it and go for an older type, or you can go for a slightly newer type. Those are your options, and it mows. So what we'll do very quickly, well, at the end of the day, coupler or not, anything you hook up in game will hook up with a click of a button. In the real world, a fast coupler is designed specifically for that. A little bit like skid steer loaders and telehandlers and things like that, where you just bring the triangle up under the connectors and it lifts it into place without you needing to adjust 3-point links and link arms and that kind of stuff. So in the real world, a fast coupler, a triangle like that, is a much quicker way of doing it. Obviously in game it's just a click of a button, so you know it does then become an aesthetic, but that's what it's there for. So turn it on, drop it down, and there we go. And as you can see, it's only a 2.1 metre, it's only just about comes to the width of the tractor tyres, and this is a fairly small tractor, but it mows, which is exactly what it should do. Nice little bit of rotation there, vibration on the PTO shaft. That's by Earsin Rainer and Farming Agency. Moving on, we've got this. I told you it was a grass tyre. Then we've got a bale trailer. This is which one's this? This is the Lizard SP8 by Stefan Modin. It's a bale trailer. I mean, today it's not an auto-load bale trailer, it's just a bale trailer. Front and rear creels on it. A few different options on tyres, I'll flip those in a second. Does have straps across it that marry up with where these hooks are, like so. Sometimes you get trailers and you can't actually tell always where the straps are going to be, but having those on the side makes it a little bit easier because you can tell exactly where they're going to be, because that's where they actually hook onto. So you can do them individually, or you can do them from the main cab of the vehicle. I like the blocks under the front there when you unhook it. It's not a swivel axle, solid axle, solid chassis. There's no swivel axle at the front, twin axle at the back. Now again, does exactly what it says on the tin. So you can put pallets on it if you want to. You can put bales on it if you want to. How you stack it is entirely up to you. And this you'll find under baling technology. Where are we? There you go, the SP8, 11,000 to buy. This will use 13 slots, which is fairly high, I suppose. Just, I don't know, I'd say just for a trailer. I don't know. That's what it takes. We can change the rim colour to anything on that colour palette, like so. We can't actually change the colour of the trailer bed itself, that stays as it is, but we can have narrow tyres, we can have standards, we can have wides, and back to narrows again. Those are your options on that. So there you go, that's the bale trailer, or trailer, doesn't necessarily have to be bales, by Stefan Modin. Moving on, we have got, well, we'll go to this one. I've got a couple over there, but we've got this. This is the International 1255-1455 XL. This is by Herr Krupp and G Master. It is kind of the forerunner to the case 1455, and there's various different iterations of this. There's a standard in-game one, there's a few different modded ones, which then lead on to various different iterations. So that's why I put that one kind of next to it, to show the kind of progression on. These were in production, the International 1455 and 1255, from 1981 to 1985, somewhere around there, and then the case version took over from 85 through to 96, I think, if my facts are correct that I found on the old interweb. yeah, I mean, it's kind of the earlier version of the two, when International Harvesters was separate to Case, and then it became Case IH, International Harvesters. So, nice mod, nice colour options on it. You can have it with or without front 3-point link, which is a nice touch. I know some people do prefer the International brand as a brand, and before it became, Case IH, but yeah, not bad at all. This you'll find under small tractors. Sure, it's small tractors. Just there, 1255, 1455, first generation. So, options available. We can change the rim colour from that kind of sort of creamy off-white to a Case IH grey or black red beast like that. So black rims with the red hubs in the centre. Very nice. Main colour, we can have used 1, used 2, which is slightly less used. Then we've got a restored 1 and restored 2. I mean, that looks lovely, doesn't it? It looks absolutely fantastic when it's pristine. But I'll be honest with you, I prefer the used. That kind of slightly, you can tell it's old, and I just prefer that, personal preference. Now, under tyre options, we've got the options of Trelleborgs, Mitas and Michelin. The most options are on the Trelleborgs. So what we'll do is we'll go to Michelin's first. You've got the Axio Bib 2, then you've got the Axio Bib 2 FI, and it's basically just the tread reversed. If I go back to the other one, tread that way, like so. And then we've got the Axio Bib 2 plus weights, and then back to Axio Bib. That's the Michelin's. Mitas, we've got SFT 600 650s, and then we've also got the tread reverse, like so. And then we've got the 600 650s plus weights, like so, and back to normal. And then under Trelleborg, we've got standards. We've got standard tyres FI, again reverse tread. You've got standard tyres with twin wheels at the back. Standard twin wheels all round. We've then got narrows, which don't seem that narrow, but they are narrower. I haven't tested those on a crop yet, so I know sometimes we get ones that say narrow and then they cause damage on crops if you've got crop destruction on. They don't seem narrow, but anyway. And then you've got the TM800s, which are the nice wide ones. Gives it a nice aggressive stance. Then we've got the wide ones with switched tread. And then we've got the TM800 with weights. And then we've got these with the narrow on the back. So it's like a twin. You've got a wide and a narrow. And then we've got that all round, which I really do like the look of that. I mean, that's really cool. And then we're back to standard tyres again. So more options on the Trelleborgs. Then on the front we can have a weight carrier. We can have with a front weight or with a front hydraulic 3-point link, whichever you want to go with. And then you've got on the exhaust, I'll try and get around to the side, you can have a series exhaust enamelled. You can have a steel pipe straight, steel exhaust enamelled, steel pipe bent, and back to enamelled again. Then you can have it without beacons, left beacon, right, left beacon or both beacons. Then we've got the option of the 1255 XL 1981, and then the 1455 XL 1981, which takes up to 145 horsepower. So you've got 125 horsepower or 145 horsepower. Then you can have front loader attacher, no. Stoll F30 console, alloy console, or not. And then you've got your airflow at the top, your airflow standard, cyclone filter low, cyclone filter high, back to standard again. So those are your options. Quite a few to be looking at. We'll get in, start it up. Horn, lights, beacon. I mean, in all honesty, is it much different or any different to the modded 1455 that I've got there, which I believe is a 1992 model? In that mod, with that mod, you can have it to 1992 or 1996. Then there's the standard in-game one and various different things. Apart from a little bit of styling, in all honesty, no, not really. Horsepower is the same. I think the sound's the same. A lot of the styling is the same. If you look at the front on the Case version, it's much flatter on the front with that kind of older Case IH look on the front, whereas the newer one not case, international, sorry, but then the newer one has got that more kind of almost sharp nose that kind of comes out of the front and then back on itself. So apart from the styling, there's not a huge amount of difference in it, in all honesty. Sounds pretty much the same. Doors and windows, if I go L1, R1, and then right stick, if we go side to side on the right stick, opens and closes the door. Up and down on the stick does the rear window. L1, R1 and left stick opens the sunroof like so. So we've got the option of door, window and sunroof. And then inside, I think the inside might be where it's most different. We'll have a quick check actually, but it's a nice tidy interior. So I've got to jump in there, hang on. Is that the same? Apart from the colour scheme, I think the colour scheme is different. But there you go. That's the 1255 1455 XL, the International, by Herkrupp and G-Master. Very nice indeed. Like I say, it might come down to personal preference. I know with a lot of these things, talking to people and people sending me messages, sometimes it comes down to a tractor that the family farm owned, or a dad owned, or a family member, or just somewhere you worked, you used to drive one. So when people say, oh, what's the point, it's just like that one, to certain people it's not just like that one at all. It's a completely different thing, and it might be something you've been waiting for, or you've just seen it and thought, you know, I love that. Or, you know, I love the front. I like old tractors, and I love the old International, you know, the fronts on some of the old tractors. Don't know, just really like that. You can see that the styling on that one moving in towards the 7520, 7250. That kind of more slanted front end onto the bigger tractors sort of thing. But anyway, yeah, enough about that. We're not looking at the comparisons, we are looking at the mods. So, moving on to the last of the mods for today, and this is kind of like a little pack. This is the Fella Grassland Equipment. This is by Vertex Design, featuring Mad Max. We've got two mowers, we've got a tedder, and we've got a windrower. Now, what I like about this, and again, you may be saying, what's the point? We've already got mowers, we've got tedders, we've got windrowers. We have, and sometimes we get reskins of ones we've already got, which again is fine. It all adds to the options people have got available. What I like about these are different in that the design is completely different. They are the Fella design. There are a lot of design cues that are completely different to a lot of the ones we've got already. Do they do the same job? Of course they do. This mows, that teds, that windrows. So do all the other mowers and windrows and tedders. They do those jobs, but the design's different. And I like that about these. It seems it's a nice kind of, looks almost like a more modern, fresh design. We've got a much bigger Fella Durus windrower. I can't remember who made that one, and I've always loved the design of that. Just the actual, you know, the way it unfolds and stuff is different, and I like that about these. So we have got in this pack, we've got the Fella Ramos 3060, the Fella Ramos 3670, the Fella Sanos 8608, and we've got the Fella Duras 1502. These are the two Ramoses. That one's 3060 front mower. That one's the 3670 rear side mower. And then we've got the Sanos over there, which is the tedder. And then we've got over here, and this one, this is so different. The Duras 1502, it's not like any other windrower we've got on console anyway. I haven't come across it before. It's a really interesting one, and like I said, we can have a look at that in a bit more detail in a second, and I'm going to operate it. Now, you'll find these spread around. Under tedders, you'll find the Sanos 8608. That will use 8 slots. If you're on console, 95 horsepower required, 8.6 metre tedder. Options on that, we can have standard, lights mounted, so it adds extra light bits on the bottom, good for nighttime tedding, and then standard wheel setup, where you can have a steering wheel mounted on the front section of that, like so. The windrower, you'll find, believe it or not, mine's gone blank, under windrowers. So you've got the Fella Duras 1502, 20,880, 6.3 metre, 45 horsepower required, so not a huge horsepower requirement. No options available on that. You get what you get. That's the Duras 1502, and that's what I was talking about, the Fella Duras 14055 Pro. Much bigger, much more expensive, but the design on that one, I love the Fella design, the kind of angular, don't know what it is about it, I just do like it, so that's nice, that one, the Fella Duras 1502. And then the mowers themselves are under mowers. So we've got the Fella Ramos 3060, 17,260 for a 3 metre front mower. We've got the option of standard or with lights package and kind of hazard squares as well. Then the Ramos 3670 rear side mower, 22,330, 3.6 metre. The two Ramos and the Duras will use 10 slots each for the first one of each you buy. And again with this one we've got option of standard or with lights, which adds a little light package on and hazard bar on the back, like so. So let's grab a tractor and let's get them working. Now, we'll see, the first thing we're going to need is some grass if we're going to use the other stuff. So, let's got the front mower. Hook up the rear. Front mower unfolds like so. And surprisingly, they mow. No grass loss on the turn. I know I have found sometimes with certain mower setups when you make a turn it misses gaps. I haven't noticed any gaps being missed. Oh. Sometimes unfolding of rear mowers and dropping off of rear mowers, they can often topple over. That one, nice stable sort of triangular platform as you put it down. Nice and sturdy, no wobble whatsoever. Which moves us on to the tedder again. Yes, it heads, you know, but it does look different. The animations kind of on it, the flex and bounce and movement you get is also something I really like. I'm not saying that other mods don't have it, but I'm just saying what I can see in front of me here. Whoops, sorry. So I'll open it out. So if I just lower it down now and then bring it back up again, that kind of bounce you get on it, I don't know, it's a small thing but I like it. Turn it on, drop it down, and it heads like tedders are supposed to do. But with the light packages on as well, do have those lights in the back with indicators as well. Again, it's a small thing, but I like it. And then moving on lastly from the Sanos to the Duras. Now this is the one that intrigues me more than anything, and I'm curious because I've tried two functions on this, but one of them I haven't tried yet, and that's what's intriguing me. I'm going to have to open the help window on this because this is a little bit unlike any WinRAR I've come across. because it's trailed behind like that with both one behind the other, which is odd. Now I'm going to open that window. So when it says fold windrower like that, I think that's for transport. I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to be transported, like that, up on the wheels, and that's folded. So if we unfold it like so, then turn it on and drop it down, it does both one behind the other, which is interesting because you think, well, okay, but surely you just need one windrow then, because you don't actually gain anything from doing that, are you? It's only one width. But if you look on the actual menu to the left hand side, it says select work mode. If I do R1, actually let's turn it off first. If I do R1 and then L3 will change my work mode, so I can do select work mode centered, right, which at the moment doesn't seem to do anything, but if I turn it back on again and as I drive forward it does that, which brings it out to its 6.3 I think, which kind of gives you the double work width, or not quite double but almost double work width. So it swings out that side like that, which does make a difference. If I do R1, so turn it off again, R1 and toggle work mode left sided, it does that. Now interestingly with that, it gives you a double spread, which is a slightly odd one as well. So it puts it out to the other side, you're getting one of the windrowers is flicking out and the other one is flicking out, but it's not combining them. So my question is, when you're doing that, why? Surely if you're windrowing, you want them windrowed, don't you? I mean, you're kind of taking two slightly wider swaths and making them into two slightly narrower swaths. They're still two separate swaths, aren't they? So personally I would go for the right swath mode rather than the left, but it's just like I say, it's an interesting design, it's something different, and it's quirky is the wrong word, that's what I suppose it's just something different, isn't it? That's the only way I can put it really. Let's just close that menu off, because I don't need that open anymore. We'll turn that off, lift it up, fold it away. Oh, that's interesting. Do I need to redo the work? Oh, there we go. And then fold it. There we go. So there we go. That's the fella Duras 1502. All of those in that pack by Vertex Design, featuring Mad Max. And that's the mods for today. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.